Okay, hotline services. So to get there, I'm clicking the services from the top navigation menu and then hotline calls. And search kind of works the same way throughout InfoNet. You have a date range of the last 90 days, which you can alter if you have the need to. This also gives you the option for searching for past hotline records by staff person or the call type. And I'm going to enter a new hotline call. We'll say the hotline call happened today, number of contacts. I'm going to use one for this example, but the hotline calls can also be grouped. It's a little challenging because the call types may differ, but if you have multiple um, hotline calls in a day from non-clients meaning people that are not in InfoNet, they don't have a client ID, they're anonymous. You can feel free to group your hotline calls. The call type, and this is in the definitions document that's available on our webpage, but I'll briefly describe them here. Um, I'll save this callback for last. Hotline has a client ID is somebody who has a client ID in InfoNet. Maybe the client I just entered this morning, the ICJA DV24, was in a crisis situation and called the hotline. If that's the case, I would enter hotline has client ID. If it's a call from somebody who's in a crisis situation, but they don't have a client ID, they're not an existing client, that would be hotline, not a client. If it's somebody that's not necessarily in a crisis situation, or maybe their loved one could be in a crisis, they're seeking info and referral, that would be this option, hotline info and referral, and not a victim. And then callback, this may be least frequently used, but it refers to providers. Many providers have agreements with local law enforcement. And this is one example, but I think it's the most common one. And they have an agreement with the police department where if the police respond to a domestic violence incident, they will talk to the victim and they will say, hey, this provider, specializes in helping people who have gone through this. Would it be okay if I gave them your contact information? If you and is there a safe way for one of them to reach you if you would feel comfortable with that? If they agree to that, yes, I would love a call from my local DV provider. Then that would be a callback, not a client. And again, they're not a client in InfoNet. So that's what that means. I'm going to say this this caller was not a client. They were just calling. A lot of this information referred to, you can enter it if you know it, but these are crisis calls. You're not going to get to a lot of this information. That's not uncommon. They're there if you can get it and you find it helpful, but don't be concerned about leaving them blank. Handling the crisis is top priority. You do want to enter the staff that took the call, even though it's not required. It's helpful to have it entered. And then the time of day, I'm going to enter the time right now. And this, I want y'all to take note at. This is unique in InfoNet. This was a section or a data field where providers wanted to enter the time in minutes and not quarter hours. So this is a deviation. You need to shift your thinking when entering time for hotline calls. If the call was 17 minutes, you enter 17 minutes and leave it at that. And I know that maybe some of you are only learning this now. If that's the case, I apologize for that. It, so if this call was 30 minutes and you enter 0.5, well, okay, it won't let you enter that. But let's say it was an hour long call. So you enter 1. InfoNet will allow you to save that, but it's going to read that time as 1 minute, not 1 hour. So if you've entered this incorrectly, please reach out to me. We can help you clean your data and repair it. So if that's the case, please feel free to reach out. We do provide TA with data cleaning. And I often find in every training, I hear of somebody that discovers, oh my gosh, I've been entering this incorrectly for years. So we always prioritize cleaning up like the most recent first and then further back in time as we can. I'm going to save this record, and that's all there is to hotline calls. I can click this to go back to my main hotline page, and I can see the record I just entered. And this also allows me to edit. If I click that, I can edit whatever I need to. If I want to delete the whole record, I can click this delete button.